Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's meeting of Suffolk Public Sector Leaders. I am Councillor Suzie Morley, Leader of Mid-Suffolk District Council, and I will be opening the meeting today. This meeting is being broadcast live and is available to watch on Suffolk County Council's website whilst we're in public session. I've received apologies from Steve Gallant, and we have Craig Rivet joining us on his behalf, Ed Garratt, Tracey Bleakley, and we have Tricia Dorsey with us, Andrew St Ledger, and we have Paula Elwood supporting there. I've had apologies from CJ Green, Chair of NALEP, and also apologies from Arthur Charvonia, and we have Kathy Nixon, who is the Director of Babergh Mid-Suffolk supporting. So welcome everybody who's standing in. Is there anybody else who's here standing in for somebody that I need to know about? No? Okay, thank you very much. So the notes of the last meeting, which was held on the 27th of May, have been circulated. So Caroline, would you like to present the notes and confirm any actions? Thank you.
Chair, there was one action which was to write to the Minister regarding the Homes for Ukraine visa processes. That has been completed and the letter was sent last month, so there's no actions outstanding or at the moment.
Lovely, thank you, Caroline. So leaders, are you all content for me to approve those notes? Yep. Lovely, yes. Thank you. And now I'd like to welcome Jane Knight. Welcome, Jane. Jane's the arts lead at Suffolk County Council, and Jane's going to present this item on Screen Suffolk. The presentation was circulated last week, so over to you, Jane. Thank you very much.
And I'm sharing screen. Can everybody see that?
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. That's lovely. Good morning, everybody. It's lovely to be here this morning. I am going to tell you about Screen Suffolk. I'm going to talk for about 10-15 minutes and then we'll take questions. I do have a short film to show you. It's 2 minutes. If we've got time at the end, we can have the fun bit, but we'll see how we go. Okay, so let's begin. Why is Suffolk thinking about getting involved in spending any money on the film sector? I think that's the big question that we always have to ask ourselves. So the film sector is one of the most successful growing business sectors in the whole of the UK. It has been growing rapidly for the past 10 years. In 2021, UK spend on film and high-end TV productions was 5.64 billion. This was the highest since records began and represented growth of 19%. Hold that 5.64 billion in your minds, because 70% of the film sector is based in London and the South East. And better or worse than that, 79% of film sector turnover of that 5.64 billion is spent in London and the South East. So places outside of London and the South East consider, what are we going to do to try to tempt this sector into our area? And there are three kind of very well-known tools that local authorities and countries use to attract film to their places. The first tool, which is the starting point, is promote the locations. Encourage the film sector to come to your area because you have the locations where they want to film. That's the first step. Second step is build film studios so that they can do their location filming, they can do their studio filming, and they can start to create real jobs and real industry in your place. The third tool, I call this one Pay Them to Come, and that is have a production fund, commission scripts that involve your place deep in the story so that those films, when they're made, have to be filmed in your area. Invest in film production and make it a condition of the investment that part of the filming is done in your place. So those are the three tools: locations, studios, investment. Now, there are some places that do all three of those things. So Northern Ireland, Yorkshire, Liverpool, Scotland, Wales, they do all of that so that they get a share of that 5.64 billion. And that is basically where the other 21% of the money is being spent. It's being spent in most of those places. So what about Suffolk? What we started to think about was, how can we promote locations? Now, we were quite late to the game. And let me tell you, the local authorities that are promoting locations outside of the southeast and doing exactly, trying to get their share through locations: Bath, Berkshire, Blackpool, Bradford, Bristol, Birmingham, Cardiff, Cornwall, Edinburgh, New Forest, Glasgow, Kent, Liverpool, Oxford, Manchester, Yorkshire, Surrey, Fife, Thurrock and Torbay. They are all saying, come film your locations here. Some of those people have been doing that for over 20 years and they have built up a real rhythm with the film sector. We came in a wee bit later. So in 2016, we decided that we wanted to actively promote Suffolk as a place for location filming. And that was a decision made by SPSL. And since 2016, we have invested 284,000 in that service. So let me tell you, when we began in 2016, we did a baseline, and we found that we had about 30 days a year of filming, location filming in Suffolk. So since 2016, we have had 887 filming days. So it's about 145 filming days a year. We have set up a comprehensive film permitting service so that we are charging people to film in Suffolk. We have built databases to promote our locations. We have got databases to promote those crew, and we are supporting work experience and the visitor economy. Now, when I say we, what I really mean is we put together a contract, we put it out to tender, and we were very lucky that we had a competitive group of people coming to us, and we were able to contract a company called Film Fixer, who are based in London, who employ local staff to deliver this service. Film Fixer are extremely experienced. They run the film permitting service for 14 London boroughs, and they work in other parts of England. So they know the film business, we don't, and they are delivering this service on our behalf. What does it look like? This is a screen grab from the Screen Suffolk website. We have 548 registered locations. So those are businesses that want filming to happen on their patch. They are people that will be charging for that, pulling money back into the Suffolk economy. And you can see these locations are spread around the county. There are absolutely clusters on the east and in Ipswich, but we have quite a fair spread. Anybody that's counting the dots will see there aren't 548 dots there, because I can't get them all on screen at once. Let's look at where we've actually had filmmaking so that you can see where it's been happening. These are the locations that have been used. since 2016. And again, you can see absolutely clusters in Ipswich and on the East Coast, but actually the spread it is across the county. Very important, that spread across the county. This slide is also a really interesting one. This is cast and crew and film services that have registered on the Screen Suffolk website. Now, it's really interesting, given that we don't have a big film industry in Suffolk, we appear to have 550 odd companies that are working in the sector. So again, remember, London and the South East, a lot of these people are commuters. They are people that are delivering their work, earning their money in London and the South East. What they want is to do more in their county. And that suits us down to the ground. What we want, of course, is this map to be covered in dots. And then our sector will be really growing. We really want to encourage young people to understand the film sector and to understand that it is a growing sector and it is a sector with a multitude of jobs, a lot of craft and tech jobs. These are jobs that our young people can train for. Film Fixer through Screen Suffolk work with West Suffolk College to deliver set-ready skills. This gives our young people the opportunity to learn about being on set and also to look at what happens when a film comes to town and to see those jobs. We have generated since 2016 392 work experience placements for young people and been able to offer 239 paid marshalling jobs as well. I also wanted to say that those businesses that are delivering film services and crew, we have generated 1,325 days worth of work for them through the location filming that we've done. So, location filming also supports the visitor economy. It's incredibly difficult to measure, but we do have a case study. The Dig, and for those of you that don't know, is a feature film about the discovery of the Anglo-Saxon burial site at Sutton Hoo. It was released in January 2021. A lot of it was filmed in Suffolk, not all of it. It shows Suffolk absolutely beautifully. It's the most wonderful film to encourage the public to think, why haven't I been to Suffolk? And the Sutton Hoo, on average, has about 100,000 visitors a year. In 2021, the year that film came out, it peaked at 120,000. And indeed, that increase has continued for some while. So I don't want to claim too much on the visitor economy, but I think you can see that showcasing a county through feature films, through high-end TV, that puts it in the public mind. Okay, here's some of the productions that we've had. I've divided this into film, TV and commercials because that's what Screen Suffolk is welcoming to Suffolk. Feature films like Yesterday, The Dig, Personal History of David Copperfield, TV like The Detectorists, The Power, Magpie Murders. What we really want is a massive TV series that needs loads of locations in Suffolk. That would be a real boost for us. And then commercials. Commercials are really useful. People come up often just for a day or one night and a day. They get to see Suffolk. They get to make a short film. We get to support them. And it's a little way of people working in film getting to know how it feels working in Suffolk. And we've had some great pieces of work. The Babergh film, if anybody has seen it, shot on Lowestoft Beach, is absolutely extraordinary. And I'll be able to show you a clip of that later if we have time. Let's move on to the the business model. I'll just go back. Okay. I spoke about the contract. I spoke about going out to tender in 2016. It's quite an innovative way of approaching this. A lot of the other local authorities that I listed, they house the promotion of film within the local authority. They have local authority paid officers promoting locations and working on film permitting. We wanted to contract that out. We also wanted our contractor to earn money through film permitting, through location fees, through delivering location logistics, and we wanted that money to go into the running of Screen Suffolk. We didn't want to have money going in circles. In other words, the local authority be receiving film permit money and then being asked to invest in Screen Suffolk. We wanted to keep it all in one place, and in an ideal world, we wanted it to be sustainable. So Screens in its income through issuing film permits, levying location fees from local authority owned locations, that goes right back into the running of it, earning a proportion of location fees from those privately owned locations, and then delivering their services. Over those 7 years since 2016, we have built up a pot of money, and we now have £180,000 in that pot of money. That is quite a lot of money. And I'm showing you this graph. This graph shows you how that pot of money has built up since 2016. And what you can see is that in 2020, it went pretty wild. And that was because we had The Power, which is an Amazon TV series, not out yet. They filmed one episode. Episode was the equivalent to 3 full months of filming. It generated significant income for Screen Suffolk, and it means that we have that income in the bank for running Screen Suffolk. Now, what you can see is we didn't have one of those in 2018, and we don't have one on the books for next year either. So if we had one of those every year, this Screen Suffolk would be completely sustainable. If we had one of those every couple of years, it would be, but we haven't. And in fact, one of the reasons that we had that was because of COVID. It was going to be filmed in South Africa, and then it needed to be filmed in England, and the whole of England was competing to get, anybody with a windy coastal site wanted that spend in their local economy. We believe that the spend in the local economy was £1 million. I'm going to move on. So just pop back. I just want to bring you back to the why, because we can get involved in that detail of how we do it. We commission it, but what we want is a share of this market in Suffolk. And base one is getting location filming. What happens when we get location filming is there is direct spend in the local economy. We have worked out a formula for measuring that impact, and we believe that there has been over £11 million spent in the Suffolk economy. That's not GVA, that is direct spend into the Suffolk economy since 2016 through this location filming. That's why we're doing it. We want that spend in our economy, and we definitely want our young people to know that the film industry is a real industry and that they can work in it. So our current contract is coming to the end at the end of August this year, and we need to decide what we are going to do next. With that £180,000 in the bank, we could decide to just let it roll and see what happens, see if we do get another power pop in. Or we could extend the current contract by 5 years, have a chunk of time where we can see, are we going to benefit from the power? Are we going to have other location managers think that went really well in Suffolk? We will go to Suffolk. We are asking you for £80,000 to underpin that 5 years. And if we take the power out of the equation, we would see that Screen Suffolk will have to work really, really hard to manage everything that we want them to do in that 5 years with that 80,000. We are pushing them hard with that offer. If we get some of those big films coming in, we will start to earn money. And in 5 years' time, we will know a lot more. So we've got two options. Option one is to put £80,000 on the table and to draw it down if it is required. Option two is just to renew and see how it goes and then come back to you. We will report back to you, whichever option you choose, we'll be reporting back to you. Your officers and this contract, I manage the contract on behalf of all local authorities, but we have an operations group that meets with Screen Suffolk. The operations group is made up of your economic development leads. Our recommendation to you is that we go for option one. We have looked very, very carefully at the flow of income. We've looked very carefully at what's on the slate and what is coming in. And our recommendation is that we work strategically with Screen Suffolk, that we give them the confidence that we want to back them for another 5 years, and that what we want to see is that business really grow. And that is the end of my presentation.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Jane. That was brilliant. Tim.
Thanks, Suzie, and thank you, Jane. I think that's an inspirational presentation. I have to say, I think, was it 2016, we had a meeting, I think, at the Corn Exchange in Ipswich, what I remember. I thought, will this really get going? And I have to say my doubts have been smashed out of the way. So I'm very happy to support this. I think it's got huge potential. So you've certainly got my support for it. What else, though, Jane? What other things might we be able to do to actually try and encourage this and to make it sustain? Was there anything we can do as a group of leaders here to support this work? And I mean, the results, as you say, indirectly for the visitor economy, tourist business, so on, I think are absolutely huge and huge potential. So is there anything else that you'd like to do, or was that something you'd like to come back to us with? Thanks.
Well, thank you, Tim. We actually have, it is all about the relationships that we have, that Screen Suffolk has with the local authorities and with the police. So we get a lot of requests for police stations. People want to film in police stations. We also, Screen Suffolk collaborate with the police when there's firearms. So we also collaborate with you when there's a need to have somebody pretending to be a police officer on set. And we have a really good relationship with the police. Also, our highways, Suffolk County Council highways, are hugely involved because obviously, and so the relationship between the local authorities, the public sector, and Screen Suffolk is really, really important. And for filmmakers, a day's delay because we didn't have the right permissions to have firearms on set, or we couldn't get the road closed, is end of play and is reputational damage. So us being really good, able to do road closures, able to approve firearms, all those things, that's us all working together. So our contacts are really important. And I would say, Tim, we have a great relationship with Suffolk Police.
No, well, that will certainly continue as long as I've got anything to do with it. So we're right behind you. So take it as read. Thanks.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Matthew?
Yeah. Hi, Jane. Well, as always, your passion on this subject is very clear for us all to see, and well done. Great. It's great work by the team. This has just evolved and grown over the years. And actually, it's a growing business and we need to keep supporting Suffolk. And as you said, the opportunity it brings across Suffolk by films coming in to decide this is the place to make that film is huge. So totally support option one. You do say under option one, officers will monitor income and expenditure. If I could just ask that maybe you come back to us once a year, or maybe just in a written form, not in person, but just so that we have an idea how that's progressing, because I'd just like to see how that is growing and how it's developing. But well done and absolutely behind you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. John?
Yeah, just to echo that, as always, Jane, that the passion that you show really comes through, and the success has been phenomenal. The films such as Yesterday, the Dig and David Copperfield, TV programmes such as The Detectorists, The Grand Tour, and Magpie Murders, they've got such a huge, high national profile, and it's really put the county on the map. So, as with others, I fully support option one. That for just a small amount of money over a 5-year period, the returns for the county are going to be huge. It's a booming industry, and hopefully it's going to inspire so many of our young people to get into the film industry and providing all of the opportunities for them. So fully supportive of this.
Lovely. Thank you, John. I wonder, what are the Detectorists going to do now that their headquarters has been knocked down?
Yeah, we're working on that.
Major issue here. Tim's question just prompted a thought. I hadn't really thought about the collaboration aspects between you and the police in terms of filming, but we've been working quite closely with the University of Suffolk and their health and wellbeing hub, and they've now got 2 fully fitted out wards as part of their training programme. And so they may not thank me for suggesting this, but there is a potential there for filming casualty style films.
That's
or
really
anything along
interesting. That's really interesting. Thank you for that.
And also they've recently got something in place or approved for dental provision as well. So there is this fully fitted out wards as part of the students' training could be a real benefit to Screen Suffolk.
That's really interesting. Well, police stations, cells, what's the other? There's a lot of bank vaults we have a lot of requests for as well. And it is often the call goes out around the local authorities from Screen Suffolk. We need somewhere, and it's knowledge of the county sometimes.
Well, add Professor Helen Langton to your list, and I'm sure she'd be delighted to hear from you.
Absolutely.
And Patricia.
Thank you. And Councillor Morley, you got in first because I was going to suggest exactly that. I mean, we have challenges with regards to our health and social care workforce and the need to encourage young people into the area. And so anything that we could do to support that, and obviously the description that you've just given of the facility at University of Suffolk would be perfect. And that marketing strategy, I think, is going to be really very important, aligning to the work of the people boards as well, about how do we make Suffolk the place that people want to come and work in those particular careers. So, and I don't want to echo everybody else's, but Jane, God, you've just sold that. It was the passion. The passion absolutely came across, and it's so important that degree of motivation inspires us to support the option.
Yeah. I would like to say a huge thanks to the Screen Suffolk and Film Fixer team, because they work so hard on behalf of Suffolk, and they have transformed us from 30 days a year to 145 days of filming in the county a year. They have worked really hard. So my passion comes from seeing people do a really good job.
Thank you.
Would you like to see the film? It's 2 minutes long, and you will get to see you'll get to see a bit of the dig, a bit of yesterday, but also the Burberry advert on Lowestoft Beach, which is a bit of a corker.
I think we should. We need to see this, Jane.
But I will share screen.
Thank you.
Hold tight. And go here. And go here. Here we go. There you go.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Jane. That was brilliant.
Did Mount County look amazing?
Yes. Well, I mean, we're all sold on Suffolk.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to reporting back to you, hopefully with more success.
Absolutely. So we agree option one, and as recommended, and also we'll have an update in 12 months' time.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jane. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're welcome to stay, of course. So the next item is the Levelling Up County Deals update. So Matthew, I'm going to hand over to you for this one. You're on mute.
I'll try and bring that same passion as Jane on this subject, but I can, So look, things are progressing. I haven't got too much to say really, but just I think it's important to note a few things. So civil servants did all come to Suffolk, as we know, on the 8th of July. We had DLUC and Treasury officials, and thanks to all the districts, boroughs and all the wider public sector who popped in and attended various slots in those initial conversations. Follow-up meetings have now taken place with civil servants and they are ongoing. A couple of things that have obviously changed is we have a new Secretary of State, Greg Clark. We are definitely seeing a desire to move things at pace. There is talk about getting things pushed towards the first week of September. Whether that's feasible or not for Suffolk, I don't know yet. We will have to wait and see. All I do know is that Cornwall, Norfolk and Suffolk, we're all still having discussions around the table, as are others. We are keen to understand from government exactly what's on offer. And that's going to be the critical thing. The thing that has also changed, apart from the pace, which is now being ramped up, is that whereas before we are now being given a sort of standard format for us to change. So in the past, it was like, people seem to be putting together their own deals. Now there's sort of a base document. In many ways, those sort of the standard deal drafted by civil servants for us to tweak is helpful. But also we have good contacts in with others who are also around the table, because we're all obviously challenging each other. Are we pushing government hard enough? From our perspective, obviously, we've always said, we need to have clarity around what's in the deal. Is it something that Suffolk will see a benefit from? And as before, we'll keep Suffolk public sector leaders and obviously our various groups updated, and the wider Suffolk PLC updated with how things are developing. But there is pressure to move things at pace. We need to see if that's achievable, and we need to see if the deal is good enough for Suffolk. When I get more details and we start getting some real concrete facts and figures to share, of course, we will come forward and share that with you. There is, of course, the clock is ticking, and we know also there's a new Prime Minister coming, likely to be end of the first week of September. So, all those things are playing into the mix, but we'll keep you updated as and when we hear more.
Thank you, Matthew. Anybody got any questions on that? Kim.
Get it off mute. Yeah, got it. Sorry about that. No, I'm obviously pleased to hear the update, and we certainly look forward to more details. I just hope the civil service do understand the huge potential this county has got and the way we all work together, and actually enable us to have the autonomy and freedom to do it. And that's where I think the details, when they come through, and I know you're all working very hard to do that, but we have got huge potential. If you just give us the tools, we can get on with the job, as old Churchill said. But I think that's the thing to say. So we're right behind
Tim,
it.
What I would say is I think the way Suffolk works together in the public sector is absolutely recognised by civil servants. They recognise and acknowledge that actually all of SPSL has put a letter in saying we want to deal together with the county. Now, obviously the deal is between the county council and government, and that's clear. But in Suffolk, we've said actually it is, but the county wants to work really well with the districts, boroughs and the wider public sector to make sure we all do, this all works for all of us. So we'll do all we can, and we'll keep going along those lines.
No, that's fine. I have every confidence you'll do just that, Matthew. Thanks.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Tim. Moving on now to the budget paper. We've got Ian Gallant with us to present the regular budget paper. Thank you. Thank you, Ian.
Morning, Suzie. Thanks. Morning, everyone. So you've got the budget paper. It appears that we've inadvertently renamed the department, so apologies for that. We've dropped housing off. It's what happens when they keep changing the name. It's a bit of a job to keep up with it, so apologies for that. Obviously, there's an H missing referring to housing. In terms of just the quick update, so in terms of the business rates pool, we've updated that spreadsheet now. That confirms the commitment you made of the £1 million to underwrite the hardship fund. So you've now got a balance of 3.15 million in your business rate pool. Turning to the funding we had for Brexit, there's still a balance there of £146,320. And perhaps when I finish these, I understand there might be some work you want chief officers to do with regards to options on that funding. And then finally, you've got Appendix 2, which is on presented to you on behalf of the Suffolk Waste Partnership. So this is an ask for funding to allow our colleagues in the waste sphere to plan, procure, mobilise and get ready for the implementation of RAWs so that we can start to move forward positively in there and start to make the preparations. So there is some detail in the paper, and I know we've had conversations about our preparations for RAWs in the past. In section 5 of the report, it does just note that we are expecting new burdens funding at some point. So when we've got that funding in place, it may be that our colleagues in the Waste Partnership don't need to draw down all of that funding when we actually know what the new burdens amount is. So we'll obviously keep you updated with that, but it's just a fund that enables them to start making those preparations collectively in good time. So I'll finish there, Suzie. Russell's on the call if there are any questions about the Suffolk Waste Partnership proposal. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Ian? No. We have. I mean, we've discussed the RAWs thing in considerable detail. So the decision is that we agree the business case in Appendix 2, and this is for a funding commitment of 375,000. Approved.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks,
So that's the final item on the agenda. So the date of the next public meeting is on the 30th of September at 10:30, and that will be a Teams meeting. Thank you very much, everybody, for your participation.
Thank you
Thanks
very much.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks,
everyone.
Suzie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Suzie. Bye.